Hi folks, just a quick correction to something. Um, right, it's still the 23rd of the 3rd, 2020. It's now 1:45 in the morning. I've just done a bit of math on the situation with regards to coronavirus, and it is truly frightening if the figures are anywhere near accurate. Truly frightening. Because there are 7.8 billion people on this planet right now. Which, you think about it, that's a lot of people. Now, if 70% of those people get the virus, then that's a lot. 1 second, let's do it properly, shall we? So, 1 second. If 70% of 7.8, that's 546 million people. No, that isn't. That's 5 billion. Sorry, 5,460,000,000. Yeah, sorry, that's correct. It just comes out in a number. How do you read the number? Because you're not used to reading numbers that long because there's too many zeros. So yeah, 5,460,000,000. Now, there's right. Let's try and do that on the calculator because that's going to be tricky. 5, 4, 6, and then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Minus, say, what is it? 4%. 4.5%. Right, so that means that the world population, because it's 4.5% of the 70% who are going to catch the virus that are likely to die from it. So that works out as 245,700,000 people will die. Well, if things continue as they are, numbers wise, it'd be around 245 million people will die from this virus. So think about that for a second. If this virus continues and spreads across the world so that every country is affected, all the people are affected that could be, then potentially you could be looking at as high as 245 million people dying. That is truly frightening. And that is a huge amount of people that could die as a result of that. I don't think it'd be anywhere near as bad as that, but you could say certainly it's going to be in the millions. I mean, I've just done the video, Christianity, coronavirus, this is serious, folks, a possible 300 million. Sorry, I said a possible 30 million plus likely to die. Well, yeah, 30 million is nothing. It could be so much higher than that. But I think 30 million plus likely to die, yeah, I think that's about right. I think because of the fact that you look at it, hospitals are going to get better. People are going to be quarantined, so therefore, yeah, the virus is going to hit a high and then it's going to start to drop a little bit. So it's unlikely that every single part of every single country will be affected. Well, to a maximum degree, that's very unlikely. I think most parts of the world will be affected. The virus will get to most parts, but I think it will be controlled. Certainly as we go further on, because people are starting to understand, or will start to understand, how to deal with it. So that will cut down the possibility of the death toll getting too bad. But we only have to look at the fact you've got countries like India, where it's only just started to impact, and India has a huge population. And as in the last video, a huge population of people that are really, really poor and living incredibly close together in slums. Now, in those sort of conditions, this virus will be rife. And you've got a lot of people in those places where they've got underlying conditions. I mean, their health in those places is poor. So you've got to expect a lot of people to be affected by that. So, yeah. The only way that the death toll will be kept to a lot lower is if every country gets highly draconian in their measures and decides to really stop the people from any form of movement. They're going to have to be incredibly serious about stopping movement completely. Otherwise, it's just not going to do the job at all. So you're going to have so many people affected by it, and if you have the same sort of percentage of 4.5% of people dying, that number is going to be atrocious by the end. Really, it's going to be atrocious by the end, and a lot of communities are going to look a lot different. It's going to be painful. And for places like London and New York City and certain places in India and the highest population cities in various countries, it's going to be nasty. Really nasty, and it's going to be bad for those inhabitants. We've got to realise that this is something that is going to be bad for an awful lot of people. So yeah, I just thought I should do an update on that, because after I finished the last one, I thought I'd look up the numbers, because I was speaking about the numbers in the last one and I didn't look them up. So I figured, right, I'll look them up just out of curiosity, see what the world population is. I didn't expect it to be anywhere near as high as 7.8 billion. Jesus, that's a lot of people. No wonder resources on the earth is struggling. You've got that many people. I mean, even in China. I don't think this virus is dealt with in China. It's quite likely they could get cocky and think it's dealt with, and then it's going to spread again. And if it spreads again, they're not going to grab hold of it. Because, as I say, in China, again, like India, they've got a massive population of people that are living incredibly close together. And when you try draconian actions and people haven't got enough food, they're going to go out. They're going to go out or they're going to starve. I mean, I don't know whether it actually happened, but there's been videos online of people's doors being nailed shut so they can't get out. Now, in China, I think that's happened. Now, if that's the case, don't try and do that in other countries, because you're going to, certainly in America, people have got guns. They won't put up with that. So that's another way that people could die. When you've got citizens having the right to bear arms, and if you have the army or the police being used to keep citizens indoors, there could be some problems there. There could be some shootouts. Don't bet against it. People's desperation, people's fear. Yeah, it's a potentially awful situation. And the problem is America's got a buffoon as president. And he's put a lot of morons in charge of departments. A lot of people who are seriously against that department, he's put them in charge of them. The FBI, for example, he's put someone in charge of them who's really anti the FBI. And all the other departments have got the same people that really don't want those departments to work. And now they've got to find a way of getting departments working. And getting departments functioning to a point where they can see off a virus that is potentially going to be awful and could kill millions of American people. I mean, the damage that's been done to America already is pretty bad. So yeah, it's a tough situation. It's a tough situation for people, and it's only just begun. So be aware and try and be as sensible as you possibly can. So hopefully going out tomorrow to get some dog food, and if we do, unfortunately, it will be a case. I mean, for me, certainly, I've got 5 dogs, so I need to get enough dog food to feed them for a good amount of time, at least probably 2 to 3 months, I would guess. Unless I can't order dog food anymore, because of the fact, obviously, the companies that I used to order from they have warehouses, but their warehouses have been closed now. So they can't have people to deal with the orders because their warehouses have had to be closed. So you can only get it from the shops now. And that's going to be a pain in the butt. But again, I mentioned the car situation, because if I have my own car, I could drive to all the various places that have the dog food. Whereas now I can't. I'm in a position where I can't really go and get food for my dogs, because I can't get to the places where I need to get the food that they eat. So I may have to get rubbish food from garages or the local supermarkets that do the really, really poor dog food. But again, if that's the case, then they'll have to have it for a few months until hopefully they've got this virus by the throat. Yeah, but as I say, think about it in this sense, folks. How much damage could this virus do in a few months? And even now we're having cases increasing massively day by day by day by day by day. And what has always amazed me with regards to this situation is that we've seen TV programs or movies where a virus gets loose. We see how the CDC and that sort of agency deals with it. They find the people that have the virus and learn, okay, who have you been in contact with? Right, we isolate those people. We make sure we get all these people and isolate them, and we stop it. The problem is none of the countries actually bothered to do that. None of them. Although, to be honest, difficult thing to do, because generally speaking, people can go to all different places, and in just a day or two, you could have contact with maybe 20, 30 people. Those 20, 30 people then have contact with 20 or 30 people. And so in just a couple of days, you could be responsible. One person could be responsible for infecting maybe 300 people in the space of a day. Each of those 300 people are going to infect other people. So, yeah. It's pretty serious, but that's why doing things like washing your hands, that's not a big ask. Not shaking people's hands, not putting your arms around them, getting face to face with them, is not a big ask right now. It's a wise move, because of the fact you wouldn't necessarily know you've got it until you start showing symptoms. But if you've got it and you don't know, you can still pass it on to someone else. So I'm not saying, for my part, would always say churches meet. You need to meet. Stay a bit of a distance away from each other. If you think you're risky, don't go. If you think that you may have the virus, don't go. Everyone else, go. Go, meet with God, pray. Pray for the people that need help. Pray for the people that are helping the sick. Pray to make sure that each government has the wisdom to deal with the situation. Do that as a church. Have some praise and worship. Meet, pray together. Where 2 or more agree, there I shall be. Where 2 or more agree on one thing, that I shall do. So meet. Not meeting is not wise. You need to meet. So find a way to meet if you're in a church. Don't use this as another excuse to bow down to what the world is saying in fear. Don't bow down in fear. This is potentially bad, yes, but if you are saved, if you die because of this and you've sorted everything out with the people you love, etc., etc., you're in a situation where you go to heaven. Fantastic, right? Couldn't be better. You die, you go to heaven, you spend eternity with God. Fantastic. That means you don't have to live on this earth anymore, suffer any more of the stupidity and horrible stuff that you have to face on a daily basis on earth. Right? So that's good. So we celebrate that. Fantastic. Yes. So no need to fear. No need to fear. No need to fear meeting. No need to fear a small gathering of people in a church. You don't need to hold hands. And if you do hold hands, fine, just wash your hands straight afterwards. Okay? Yeah, get some hand wash. If you can get some hand wash, put some in a little tub. You can take it with you. And you can do that in church. You can hold hands. Just make sure that everyone has a little bit of hand wash so they can wash their hands afterwards. That's fine. Nothing personal. It's just wise. Simple. Simple. You don't know if someone there maybe has the symptoms of that but doesn't know it yet. So they may have caught the virus. So washing your hands is just a wise move. Yeah. I didn't realise something until today, until I checked actually, that touching eyes also. Somehow the virus can get into your system through your eyes, apparently. Because you shouldn't be touching your mouth, you shouldn't be touching your nose, around your nose area, or your eyes. So I didn't realise that, but apparently that's what they said on the NHS thingamajiggy, because they have that on every video in the UK. Coronavirus disease, COVID-19. Get the latest information from the National Health Service about coronavirus. You click on that, and it has some suggestions. But it's saying about not touching eyes as well. So just be aware of that. I'm not sure if you can get it through your eyes, but maybe you can. And if you can, you don't want it to go that way, do you? Really? you don't touch your mouth after touching someone else's hands, or someone else's hands to touch, but you touch your eyes. Don't do that. Not a good idea. Okay. That'll do for this video. I think that's long enough. Don't be scared, as I say. Potentially, yes, it could be awful from the degree of population-wise, the amount of people dying of the earth, but the earth has a huge population of people. And so, although it sounds frightening to say the least, you could have over 300 million people dying. 300 million when you've got 7.8 billion is not actually that much. Although, of course, for the families of those people, it would be terrible. But as I say, you can expect it to be the case that someone you know will be affected by it. Someone you know will be affected by someone dying of coronavirus. By the time it ends, it's quite likely that will be the case. It won't necessarily be someone you know that dies, but someone you know will know someone. Either someone you know that will die, or someone you know will know someone who died. So, yeah. That will do for now. It's now 2 in the morning. So I think it's a case where I'm going to feed my dogs. Unfortunately, I didn't get to play. I've still got to let the pups out to pee and poo, so I better do that. So I didn't do that earlier. I decided to look at the numbers. And I've got a problem with my left eye for some reason. Something keeps going on. I keep on touching the blinking thing, then realising that's not a wise move. Something weird going on in the eye for some reason. I don't know what it is. But hey ho, I'll wash my fingers in a second, and then I'll have to have a look at that situation. Yes. Well, I will say good night for now and goodbye, and I will speak to you again when I have anything more to say. And whether it be coronavirus related or anything else related, I don't know. As yet, I'm not at that point. So I can't see into the future, so I have no idea what the subject matter will be. At the moment, I'm doing something I don't know if it's useful, I don't know if it's practical, I don't know if it's something I should be doing or not. There's something called folding folding at home, and it's spelled FOLDING, and then the at symbol, and then home. And what that's supposed to do is that company uses your computer to do some numbers, checking for how to uh, research fighting diseases. And that's something I saw today. So I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. I have no idea whatsoever as to how that's gonna work or whatever. So we'll give it a go and we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen with it. So yes, I will leave you now. Look into that folding at home situation and see what it is. I don't know what it is. Apparently, you get points for doing it, and you can be part of a team. Although I'm not sure really what the point of all that is, and I suppose it's simply a case of if it's helping to research fighting diseases, then great. I don't know how it works necessarily, but yeah. So there you go. I'll leave you to it. You have a wonderful day, whatever day you're listening to this, and have a good week. You take care, keep safe, keep well, and keep your distance as much as you can from others for now. Okay, don't let that become your understanding and your way of life, keeping your distance from people. But for now, if that's the wise move, if that keeps you safe and the people around you safe, then do that. Keep well, keep your distance, and keep loving. Okay. God bless. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.